What's the rules of emphasis this year that the league is going to be calling or not calling so far?
Well, to me, Rich, when I look at all the emphasis, there were no rule changes, right?
Right.
I mean, there was one rule change, and it applied only in the postseason, and it was overtime, and it was the Chiefs and the Bills. So that was the only actual change. The typical things of contact to the quarterback's head, I mean, that is constant. You look at that. The taunting issue is still the same. But the illegal contact is probably the one. And that's the one, to me, that changes the game. And it's not a rule change. The rule is exactly the same. But the emphasis is not. They want more calls. And why do they want that? Because the committee looks at numbers. You look at the 2021 season, and all of a sudden you see that points per game were down 4 points a game. Passing yards per game were down 24 yards. And so they look and they say, why? Well, there's two ways to look at it, in my opinion. You could go look at the numbers, what they were in 2021, and recognize that 49.6 points per game was like all-time high, 4 points above the norm. And the passing yards were up too. But you look at the numbers as they reflect the year before, and they're down, and so you make an emphasis of it. We did it in 2003 when I was there, and all of a sudden the number of illegal contact calls in the year went from 79 in 2003 to 191 in 2004. Did it again in 2013 when the numbers were 59, and it went to, I think it was about 160 the following year. Last year, there was only 39 calls, which was one of the lowest ever in terms of illegal contact since the rules came in. So you're going to see more of those, and it will frustrate the daylights out of people because it's one thing to have a 5-yard penalty when it's 3rd and 17, but when that 5-yard penalty for illegal contact, which has nothing to do with the severity of the contact, even if it doesn't affect the receiver. If it's initiated by the defender, it carries that 5 yards and an automatic first down. And so it becomes a huge penalty. So
that's the thing with fans, Mike, is that gets them particularly frustrated is when it's away from the play and you don't see it on the screen, and then all of a sudden a flag comes in and it affects whether a defense gets off the field or not, and it's away from the play. So you're saying, like, what, weeks 1 through 4, we should expect to see a ton more of those until there's such a hue and cry and players get used to it, and then we'll see less of it? Is that the way it's going to go?
This is not one like, okay, we're going to get the tackles up on the line of scrimmage, and it's not one that they're going to call a lot in the preseason and then not call as much during the regular season. This is a constant one. I mean, the committee is adamant about this. They didn't like that number of illegal contact calls in the 2021 season. So we're going to see a lot of that. And I know fans get furious about, 3rd and 17 and a 5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 10. But the theory being with the committee and the rule was that if it was 3rd and 15, then you're going to be actively aggressive as a corner when it comes to, playing bump and run or riding beyond 5 yards, because you know that a 5-yard penalty would make it still 3rd and 12. And so, listen, it's an offensive league. We know that, right? And so they like points, they like yardage, and I guess they like illegal contact penalties too, because they'll see more.